alone. Good people will fight if we lead them.
Welcome to the 2020 Virtual Teen Political Forum, where high school students take control in shaping their future. Students just like you organize this event so you can get answers to the questions that are on your mind. You can ask anything, but don't just stop there. Share your ideas and solutions to the issues affecting you and your community. Today, you are in control. The best part, every school is represented and elected officials are here to listen to you. You are the future leaders of your communities. It is your job to get the answers, so don't be shy. Tweet your questions to @TeenPollForum to get your questions answered during the show. Let's make some noise for J.P. Taravella, Coral Glades High, Stoneman Douglas, Coral Springs High, and Coral Springs Charter.
The Lord will be with you.
Always.
Now, please rise as we honor our nation's flag with the Pledge of Allegiance recited by Broward County Commissioner Michael Udine.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now it is my privilege to introduce Commissioner Larry Vignola.
Thank you, Commissioner Udine. And thank you everyone for tuning in to this nationally award-winning event. Gathering elected officials together in a way where teenagers can ask whatever they want is quite a unique opportunity. As someone who grew up in Coral Springs, I never had an opportunity like this. When I was a student at Stoneman Douglas, I didn't even know who my elected officials were. And that's why we've worked so hard to put on this event. Many people played an important role in putting this thing together. First off, I'd like to thank the students who worked on this committee, who have spent many evenings over the past 8 or so months to make this evening special. Like most things over the past few months, we've had to adjust to put on this year's event. But the City of Coral Springs staff and the students on this committee worked hard to make tonight possible. To those of you involved, I want you to know that you have made an impact on my life, and I am thankful for all of your hard work, your effort, and your friendship. Please give them a round of applause. Next, I'd like to thank my wife, Amy, and my 3 daughters, Madison, Ava, and little Amy, for picking up the slack when I'm running around doing things like trying to help put on events like Teen Political Forum. I'd also like to thank the schools, the principals, and the teachers who have helped promote this event, many of which are watching this evening. I'd like to take a moment also to thank Kate Goldman and Baptist Health for being our title sponsor this evening and for providing a $1,000 check to the school with the highest attendance. I'd also like to thank Tim Bowers and Waste Pro, who will be donating $500 to the school with the second highest attendance. And since this year will be, a little different, the city will post a tweet for each school, and the school with the most likes in their tweet by the end of the evening will take home the check and the trophy. As we move forward, please be respectful to our panelists. If you don't get a chance to tweet a question during the program, in a moment, I'll give you my contact information so you can reach out to me afterwards for any unanswered questions that you may have. Don't forget to tweet along throughout the evening. Please use the hashtag #TeenPoliticalForum. This is my 8th and final year chairing this event, and I wanted to thank you, the students who participate every year. Chairing this event has been something that has truly been an honor for me, and I will never forget you. I am so proud of our teens and how you continue to use your voice for change. You can find me on Twitter @Larry Vignola, and you can also feel free to call me or text me with any city-related concerns on my cell phone at 954-632-7544. Soon, you're going to hear a few words from our featured speaker. This year, you will hear from Emily Lysenko, a soon-to-be graduate of JP Taravella High School, who has been working on this event for the last 2 years. Emily will be continuing her education at the University of Florida, where she will major in international studies and economics. Emily?
Thank you, Commissioner Spagnola. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first virtual and 14th annual Teen Political Forum. We thank you for joining us tonight, and we thank our amazing panel and City of Coral Springs staff for all of their time and support. Since its creation, Teen Political Forum has stood as a testament to community, civic participation, and student voices. Attending Teen Political Forum my freshman year, I quickly recognized how this event captured the spirit of unity and inclusion. Although this year looks very different from previous years, we as a committee realized how important this event is to us and how critical it was to have Teen Political Forum this year. In times of such uncertainty, a sense of unity is vital. Questions are significant and answers are invaluable. As we work, celebrate, and grow together through the ups and downs, we turn to community and cultivate new definitions for what it means to serve, to care, and to build better tomorrows. These times might make us feel weak and discouraged, but they will also make us stronger. We hope to underscore that strength and resilience tonight. Through the words of Yoda, we learn that in a dark place, we find ourselves, and a little more knowledge lights our way. From wherever you are and however you are joining us, we welcome you to the 2020 Teen Political Forum.
Now let's welcome our 2020 moderators. Senior Einav Cohen from Marjory Stoneman Douglas. Senior Naomi Rosenberg from Marjory Stoneman Douglas. Senior Jana Raba from Coral Springs Charter. And Senior Rachel Paul from JP Taravella.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry, I was on mute. Welcome to the 14th Annual Teen Political Forum and first ever virtual TPF. I'm Rachel Paul, a senior from Taravella High.
I'm Naomi Rosenberg, a senior at Marjory Stoneman Douglas.
I'm Jenna Rabah, a senior at Coral Springs Charter School.
And I'm Einav Cohen, a senior at Marjory Stoneman Douglas.
While we represent different schools tonight, we are all here for the same reason, to ask questions and get answers.
We hope you have all had the opportunity to check out our Twitter page and follow at Teen Pol Forum.
Tweet in your questions, tag us, and make sure to hashtag Teen Political Forum. Later in the evening, we'll be sharing some of these questions and, of course, getting answers.
This year, we are continuing the tradition. The school with the highest attendance will receive the traveling trophy and a $1,000 check from Baptist Health. Second place will receive $500 from Waste Pro. Thank you to our sponsors.
Make sure to go to the Coral Springs Twitter account and like your schools to get counted.
Last year's winner and the current owner of the trophy is JP Taravella, and I'm happy to say that I believe it is staying there.
Whoa, 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 not so fast. I think Douglas has it in the bag.
I totally agree with that statement.
Hold on. Charter is going to get their trophy back.
Asking your Twitter questions, we have our wonderful Twitter moderators. Hi, I'm Leila Lysenko, senior at JP Taravella.
And I'm Nathaniel Pelton, sophomore at Coral Springs High School.
First, we'd like to take the time to thank City Commissioner Larry Vignola, as well as the other Coral Springs staff members that have helped us put this amazing event together. They have worked with us throughout the process and have helped keep this committee running the entire year. We couldn't have done it without them, so thank you.
We hope you all take advantage of this opportunity. This is your time for your voices to be heard.
We would now like to welcome the elected officials who will be answering your questions tonight.
Here are your Zoom panelists. City Commissioner Sean Serra, Team Political Forum Chairman and City Commissioner Larry Vignola, Mayor Scott Brook, Vice Mayor Joy Carter, City Commissioner Joshua Simmons, State Representative for District 97 Dan Daly, Broward County Commissioner Michael Udine, School Board Member Lori Alhadeff, U.S. Congressman Ted Deutsch.
They are volunteering their time to be here to listen to our opinions and are the ears that our collective teenage voices need to hear from. Thank you to all of them for Zooming in with us tonight.
As the panelists are introduced, they will get a short period of time to let us know who they are, what they do, and any other information they'd like to share with us.
However, they only have 10 seconds to describe themselves. After their time is up, the microphone will be completely cut off, so they better go quick.
First, we have Joshua Simmons. Your time starts now.
Since I have 10 seconds, the only thing I will say, or the two things I will say, is thank you for having me tonight. And this past May the 4th, I spent 2 days watching every single Star Wars movie from the prequels all the way to the end. All right.
Next, we have Lori Alhadeff. Your time starts now.
Hi, my name is Lori Alhadeff, school board member for District 4. I have 3 children, and I love to go to the beach and ride my bike.
Thank you. Next, we have Michael Udine. Your time starts now.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me. I'm County Commissioner Michael Udine. I am a proud graduate of the first graduating class of J.P. Taravella High School, and I'm happy to be here again for the Teen Political Forum. Thank you for having me.
Next, we have Larry Vignola. Your time starts now.
I'm a husband, a father, 3 beautiful girls, and I got one more person I got to thank, Monique Rado, who graduated last year but spent a lot of time helping us put this event together. I forgot to thank her, and I want to make sure we get a chance to say thank you to you.
Thank you. Next, we have Dan Daly. Your time starts now.
Hi, everybody. Dan Daly here, coming at you from our state capital in Tallahassee, MSD grad, former city commissioner in Coral Springs, and I got my start because of this very event, so I'm honored to join you.
Thank you, State Representative. Next, we have Sean Serra. Your time starts now.
Hi, good evening. My name is Sean Serra, rookie to the City Commission since June of 2019, longtime standing principal of J.P. Taravella for 14 years. Go Trojans, husband, father of 3, and father of 3 dogs.
Next, we have Scott Brook. Your time starts now.
Good evening. I'm your mayor, Scott Brook. I have 5 beautiful children. 3 of them went to Taravella, 2 went to Coral Glades High School. I've got 3 grandchildren, and I'm happy to have started the Teen Political Forum with Mayor Gold years ago, and so happy that we're here tonight.
And now, last but not least, we have Miss Joy Carter. Your time starts now.
Vice Mayor Joy Carter for the City of Coral Springs, 35-year resident, 2 daughters that are both Coral Springs School graduates, and I love this event. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you all for zooming in to answer the questions that matter to your local high school students. This is a special year since it's our 14th anniversary of this citywide event. We would also like to welcome our city manager, Frank Babinek, our director of emergency management, Alec Falconor, our police chief, Clyde Perry, and our fire chief, Michael McNally, to answer any questions if need be.
We are very excited to have such a great turnout and from all of our elected officials, so thank you. We would also like to thank our sponsors again, Baptist Health and Waste Pro. Now we would like to begin the question portion of the evening, which will include questions from us moderators, some quick fire questions, a few Twitter questions, and some video questions.
And also, we'd like to introduce Congressman Ted Deutsch for joining us today. Thank you, Congressman, for joining us.
Good to be with you. I got to hop on a plane in a couple of minutes, but I wanted to join you. I think it's great what you're doing.
Okay, so now we will be starting the moderator questions. First, we have Mayor Scott Brook. Here's your question. Has construction for the additional walkways and shops known as Cornerstone been postponed? And when can we expect to see those go into effect?
Has the construction been postponed? Not to my knowledge, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is postponed because of COVID. We're anticipating talking about it at tomorrow's workshop, and starts at 5 o'clock tomorrow.
Thank you, Mayor. This question is a quick fire for Ted Deutsch. Disney or Universal?
Disney for sure.
This question is for Sean Sarah. Since you are the most recently elected official, what is one thing you want to focus on achieving for the city this year?
It's going to be around school safety, for sure. You know, once we get back to some normalcy, and then also make sure that when we do transition back, that we have everything thought out from not only the day-to-day settings, but also for after-school activities. So I'll be working very closely with the school board members, Superintendent Runcie, and the rest of the district staff.
This next question is for Commissioner Joshua Simmons. What has been the best thing that has happened to you since being elected on City Commission?
The best thing that has happened to me, I would say the best thing that has happened to me, there's so many different things, but I would say the one thing that I always looked forward to once I got elected was the holiday parades. Those are just such an amazing thing to be a part of. I mean, you get to sit up there and sit in the car and do your Miss America wave, and it's just really great. And you get to see so many people, you know, that you haven't seen in a while, all the family and kids that are out there. So to me, being a part of the holiday parade is just like such a phenomenal honor to be a part of as an elected official.
Thank you.
School board member Lori Alhadeff. What can we expect when students go back to school post-COVID?
Great question. So next week on Tuesday, the school board will be having a very lengthy discussion and about all the different options to help keep our students and teachers safe when they go back to school. It's going to be different. It's going to be our new norm. We're going to have options for students, and you know what that looks like, I can't specifically say right now, but there could be things like virtual, like a hybrid, where students go to school a couple days a week and then they're virtual the rest of the time. But what we want to do is create options for students, so parents that feel comfortable with keeping their students virtually at home, they still will be able to do that. And we need to be able to create a very safe environment for students. You know, there could be things like wearing masks, mandatory hand washing, temperature checks. We need to be able to follow the CDC guidelines to keep everyone safe, social distancing. And, you know, most importantly, we need to make sure that we meet the students' social and emotional wellness, and we focus on that. You know, I know kids miss their friends; they miss interacting with their friends. So we need to be able to meet their needs. And like I said, nothing is set yet, but staff is diligently working on a plan for the school board members to talk about next Tuesday. And also, Mr. Runcie let the school board know today that McKinsey Global Consulting Firm and Harvard Public Education Leadership Project will be helping the school district with that plan and what that looks like moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that response. Quick fire question for Larry Vignola. If you could spend a day with anyone, who would it be and why?
Honestly, my wife and kids. I'm very fortunate to have a wonderful family that my wife's my best friend. My kids are, also my best friends. And we just, I enjoy our time together, just hanging out and doing nothing sometimes. So, but yeah.
This question is for Congressman Ted Deutsch. So most seniors here will be voting for the first time in the upcoming presidential election. What is one piece of advice that you have for them?
Well, first of all, make sure you don't miss it. It's the most important thing you can do to influence the direction of the country. And you should read up on the candidates, and you should get out there and not only vote for it, but you should try to, especially given that we're sort of stuck at home, you can help play a role in influencing the election by reaching out to your friends on social media and urging them to vote for the people that best represent your values and things you care about and kind of country you want to live in.
Okay, great. Just a reminder to our panelists, you will only have a minute to answer your questions. So just putting that out there. And now we have our first video submission directed towards Commissioner Udine, State Representative Daly, and Vice Mayor Joy Carter.
I wanted to know which of you, with your respected offices, plan on supporting the phased reopening model, and which of you have alternate solutions to the pandemic.
We can start with Commissioner Udine.
Thank you. I support the phased reopening. I support trying to open up some of the businesses and I've tried to get away from, and I've said this before, the idea of what's essential and what's non-essential, and replace that with what's safe and what's not safe, because everything is essential to somebody. If it's your small business and you're operating your business, it's essential to you. So as long as your business or your park or your athletic league or whatever it is can be operated safely with proper social distancing, then I think that we have a duty to try and do our best to get those type of businesses and facilities open. And I think that it's one of these things where then people, because there are people that run the gamut. Some people are really scared. Some people aren't as scared. People can make their own personal choices as to what makes them comfortable. But as long as everyone's operating in a safe way, using proper social distancing, we should try and open up and try and get our economy back on track, and doing it in a way that provides for the safety of people and allowing them to get out and to start enjoying life again.
Okay, thank you. Representative Daly?
Sure, thank you. You know, I agree with the county commissioner, and as a member of the legislature, I don't get a lot of say in the reopening process. I can talk to the governor's office, I can talk to folks like Commissioner Udine and the county administrator. But I think, look, the biggest thing is that it has to be based on, the reopening has to be based on facts and science, and not just an arbitrary deadline or date or policy belief that, hey, we need to just go from 0 to 100. I, like so many people, want the economy to reopen, but I also want it to be done in a safe way, and I don't want numbers to spike. And I think that's something you should all take a look at over the last couple weeks, is what is happening as Florida has gone through the phases. It's different parts of the state have gone through different phases. I'm coming to you from my hotel room in Tallahassee because I had to run up here for a couple meetings. And I can tell you that other parts of the state are not in the same phase that we are in South Florida. And so it's important to make sure you draw that distinction and see what the numbers look like in other parts of the state compared to Broward County. I'm confident folks in Broward are doing and making decisions based on facts and science. And as long as that's the case, I think it's the right direction.
Okay, thank you. Vice Mayor Joy Carter.
Yes, I do support the phased reopening. We, as a city, we are under the direction of the county, and currently we're following the Miami-Dade line. So I would say that the biggest issue I had with this whole process was that we allowed big box stores like Home Depots and Walmarts and things like that to open with masses of people, but yet we couldn't allow a mom and pop business to open that had smaller quantities of people. And that was a big struggle for me. I think following the CDC guidelines is key in any business, but everybody's essential. the way I see it. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next question is for Vice Mayor Joy Carter. What are some ways you are going to revamp senior citizen directed activities for health and safety in the city?
Well, that would be following, again, the CDC guidelines and limiting the number of people that can participate. So in that case, we have to offer more programs because we're having to make the classes smaller overall. But we're certainly easing back into it because, like Commissioner Udine said, there are some people who feel very comfortable coming back and others who are still deathly afraid. So we definitely take all that into consideration in the programming that we have, but we do know that they miss it.
Now we will be taking our first Twitter question from the night from Emily.
This one is for Lori Alhadef, and it's from Monica. Why don't Broward public school teachers receive paid maternity leave?
That's a great question. Why don't Broward public school teachers receive paid maternity leave? You know, I don't really know why they don't. We have different processes that we have to go through for their contracts and what's in their contracts. I as one school board member, and you know, I'm one vote of 9 votes. I would want to see teachers be paid for maternity leave. I think that would be really important. So you would have my vote for that. Thank you.
Okay. This next question is for State Representative Dan Daly. What permanent changes can we expect to Florida when all the businesses open up and life goes back to normal after COVID-19?
So let me just make sure I have the question. What permanent changes can we expect on business or just on life? What are we talking about? Just give me a little bit more.
Overall on life.
Sure. So look, I think at least for the next, I mean, look, I'm not a scientist, but I would venture to guess for the next year to 18 months until you've got a vaccine, until you've got other factors weighing in that limit people's exposure to COVID. I think you're going to see a number of changes. I think you're going to see, well, right now, as a perfect example, the way the government operates has been turned on its side. The way the legislature operates in terms of public communication and people coming to the Capitol, I think that's going to have to change. You're going to have to find a way for people to participate in a more virtual manner. I think our court system, same situation. Even today, they're still not holding jury trials in the state of Florida. So if you've got a personal injury claim, you're on hold right now. If there are criminal charges brought against you, you're on hold right now until we can get to a process that works for everybody. So I don't know that those changes are necessarily going to be permanent, but I would tell you probably for the next 12 months to 18 months, you're going to see some significant changes in terms of limiting the number of people in public places, the requirements in terms of temperature checks or hand washing or anything like that. I think you're going to see those stick around for quite a while. Wearing a mask. Wearing a mask should not be political. I don't care if you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, wear your mask. It's not offensive to anybody. Put it on because it's your safety and everybody else's safety. You know, that's my 2 cents on it. I'm not going to legislate mask wearing. That should be common sense.
Okay.
So our next Twitter question is directed towards Police Chief Clyde Perry, and the question is asked by Monica Mathis and Logan Rubenstein, and the question is, has the City of Coral Springs or the Coral Springs Police Department done anything to contribute to the Black Lives Matter movement and prevent future instances of police brutality?
Sure. That's a great question. I will tell you, do we contribute to the Black Lives Matters movement? You know, financially, no, we do not. You know, we do, as a department, you know, contribute to a lot of different areas. The Urban League was one that pops in my mind. But as far as what we can do, it's just what we're doing right now, talking to each other, having good common sense question and answers, and finding understanding. We've got a fantastic police department here. It's got an outstanding reputation, And, I'm proud to be the chief of police of this agency.
Before our next question, this is a reminder to go like the tweet for your school for your attendance. To Michael Udine, we would like to play a clip from last year's TPF on a question you had a strong answer to and see if there is any update on if we will see construction happening.
Yeah, the construction project on Wiles Road is well underway. We realize that it's been an inconvenience to so many people. They're working day and night. I'm staying on top of them. I want this finished. When I'm back here at the Teen Political Forum next year, that road better be done. Or somebody's getting fired if that's not done.
Yes, I know they continue to work on that road. It's been a constant challenge. We continue to push. Parts of that road are now done, and they keep working in different areas, but it's something that we're all over down at the county. I speak to the people in Trafficways all the time. They do a good job. They're trying to get these things done. I especially told them during this time of during the pandemic, when people were home and there was less traffic, to get out there and to make sure that all of these road projects are being pushed forward and are being expedited so that they're being worked on while there's less traffic on the road. So continue to stay on top of it. Government projects are not the quickest thing going, but this is a good time where we can get more things done quicker while there's less traffic.
Thank you. This question is for Sean Sarah. What is your vision for Coral Springs in 10 years?
One of the visions I have are to implement and create a neighborhoods of integrity, where we would take different parts of our city and establish a bench per se of leadership and involvement, where we would not only try to build a culture of one city, but also make sure that we're hearing everyone's voice, especially our residents and business owners. We have an opportunity, and we're doing great things already, but we can certainly take it to another level. And that's one of my initiatives that I really want to get created here while I'm serving as a city commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we will take our third video question of the night. This one's directed towards Michael Udine.
How will quarantining be better enforced on the beaches?
The enforcement of all these quarantining type and social distancing issues are extremely challenging. It's, a lot of this has to be done with personal responsibility out there, and people are going to have to do what's best for themselves, for their families. It's very difficult to send code enforcement or police officers out to cite people for standing too close to somebody, for not wearing a mask, or for whatever the reason would be. So I've spoken with Sheriff Tony. I know a lot of the police chiefs have spoken about this. The main thing with the enforcement of these type of orders are about education. No one is looking for somebody to get in trouble during this time. No one is looking to go into a business and harass that business because government doesn't think they're doing it the right way, or because people are calling in complaints. What everybody really wants to do is education. Kind of like what State Representative Daley said, wear your mask, do the right thing. Try to make sure that if you're on the beach, you can be there with your family, with the groups that you've been quarantining with, but stay 6 feet apart from other groups. And really, the more and the better we handle ourselves now during this reopening, the quicker all of this is going to be over, and we can get back to a more normal, way of activities.
Thank you, Commissioner Udine, and also thank you to Congressman Ted Deutsch, who unfortunately had to leave as he is boarding his plane. Now, moving along, a quick fire question for Lori Alhadeff. What color would your lightsaber be?
Thank you. This question is for Larry Vignola. What has been the most rewarding thing you have been a part of in all your years of being a commissioner?
Probably this event. I mean, look, the most rewarding thing about being a commissioner, this is my final year, I'm done in November, is like the people around. You look at the people on this panel, you look at the students that are a part of this. I've got to meet some really awesome people, and with the Students in Team Political Forum, I have kids that I still stay in touch with from back in 2013, being a part of this event. There's a student that I helped write a college recommendation letter to that went off and went to Dartmouth, and he's now at Yale Law. And staying in touch with kids like that is pretty awesome, and watching you guys grow and continue to see how you guys continue to use your voice. It's not just a saying in Coral Springs. You guys actually get out there and you let your voice be heard, and I think that's just awesome and empowering. And I'm really appreciative of the group and what you guys do. So.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Vignola. Next, let's take some time to look at our third Twitter question of the night. This one is for City Manager Frank Babinek. What can we do to assure the public that it's safe for voting polls to be open?
Thank you very much for that question. At the end of the day, it is safe to go outside as long as you're following the CDC guidelines. It's safe to do things that you have to do during everyday life. So as it's been mentioned, you have to wear your mask. That's extremely important. You have to wash your hands. You have to make sure if you can't wash your hands, you're using hand sanitizer. Make sure you're not touching your face, your nose, your mouth, your eyes, your ears after touching surfaces that others have touched. So if you follow those guidelines, you keep your safe distance away from others, you wear your mask, you use good hygiene, there's no reason for you not to participate in the election process. We need you to participate. It's extremely important that you do so.
Thank you. Before our next questions, this is a reminder to go like the tweet from your school for your attendance. Now, this is a quick fire question for Vice Mayor Joy Carter. What is a fun trend that you wish would come back?
A fun trend. I can't think of anything that I would want to come back because we've improved on so many of the events. I love the Downtown in December and the jazz festivals that we have. I think we've just constantly evolved and improved on everything that we've had. The only thing I remember as being fun, and there was only 60,000 people in the town, which is half of what we have now, was when our town was at Mullins Park. It was a very small town and very community, and it was a lot of fun, but we progressed beyond that. Now I like the art festival.
Thank you so much. Now it's time for our fourth video question of the night, directed to Commissioner Simmons.
How are these mandated laws in response to COVID-19 not infringing of my civil rights?
All right. So great question. And I will say that it's not infringing on anyone's constitutional rights because this is a public health issue, right? And this is something that affects everybody. It affects the entire population. And so these are one of those moments that we as a country, as a city, can come together or could have came together in a fashion, which most of us did in the city, to make sure that we protect our neighbor, to make sure that we protect our loved ones, to make sure we protect those who have compromised immune systems, and to make sure that we stop the spread and flatten the curve. It's not infringing on your constitutional rights. Yeah, your stay-at-home order was to make sure that you stayed safe, to make sure that your family didn't get the infection, and no one, within your family died because of COVID-19. At the end of the day, were you going to get arrested if you went outside after the stay-at-home order? No. I mean, if you remember when everything got shut down, a week later, it was, okay, well, this business can be open and this business can be open. And so that kind of gave room for people to be out more than what they probably should have if we had like a complete and total shutdown. So, if at this point, if it's a matter of opinion, I don't think it was against your constitutional rights or anyone's constitutional rights. If you needed to go outside, if you had to go get food, you weren't going to get arrested or thrown in jail because you had to go get food to feed your family. So, no, it was a public health issue, and everybody was asking, the government was asking, what your neighbors were asking was for you to do your part to keep everybody safe.
Thank you so much. This next question is for State Representative Dan Daly. Is there a big difference between serving on city commission and state legislation?
Good question. There is a big difference. It's a heck of a lot easier for me to work with 5 people on the city commission than it is 120 people in Tallahassee. That being said, you can still get some work done. As many of you may know, also one of the other differences on the city commission is a nonpartisan body, right? So we don't look at issues in a partisan light. The legislature in Tallahassee is very partisan. It is controlled by one party. I'm not in that party. And so sometimes that makes getting good policy through a challenge, but there are times that it can happen. I had the honor, this session to work with school board member Lori Alhadeff to help pass Alyssa's Law, which passed with bipartisan support in the Florida legislature, and that will require panic alarms in all schools in Florida. So there are opportunities to work together and reach across the aisle, but it is a heck of a lot more challenging to convince all of those folks that your idea should be law in the state of Florida. And a shout out to the school board member, and thank you so much for Lori, for your efforts and dedication on behalf of Alyssa and so many students across our state.
Thank you so much. Our next question is for Mayor Scott Brook. Due to the events that have occurred in Minneapolis and the protests all over the country, what procedures are being implemented in both diversity training for police and transparency and accountability efforts?
So you've asked, what are we doing differently in regards to transparency? You have the chief right here facing your questions. He sent out a great press release immediately. One of the things that we're doing too is tomorrow I'm hosting extended office hours, again, for the second time. And we're answering the tough questions through getting them to the police chief or the city manager or to the 5 of us. Tomorrow it's at 3 o'clock to 4:15. There was a second part to your question, Enav. Can you repeat the second part?
Yeah. What procedures are being implemented in both diversity training for police?
And diversity training for police. So we haven't met just yet. Our city commission workshop is tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And we plan to be briefed on a lot of the issues that have just recently arisen since the time of our last city commission. But I have all the confidence in the world that part of what we've done already has been helpful to eliminate the issue that you saw in Minneapolis. One of those is that we require all of our police officers to have a college degree or equivalent training. And we have ongoing diversity training. And I'm happy to let Chief Perry answer that question. I do have something to amend to my prior answer because Rod Sheldon and I got in touch during this workshop, during this forum, and the Cornerstone project is extended by about 3 months at this time. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Mayor Scott Brook. Now let's take some time to look at our 4th Twitter question of the night.
Our 4th Twitter question is for Lori Alhadeff, and the question is, how are students with autism affected by virtual school, and how are we supporting our ESE programs at this time?
Great question. So with virtual learning, we have to be able to meet the needs of our students with IEPs, and based on their IEP, the teacher has to find creative solutions in this virtual world to try to teach them and to work with them based on their specific needs. And I think that it's also, being that the students are at home and we are working collaboratively with their parents and trying to teach them and work with them virtually, it's a collaborative effort between the parents and the teachers and the students to make sure that all of the students' needs are met and that we are meeting the requirements of their IEP. But, I think that we can also do a better job. We can improve, and, moving forward to next school year, these are going to be some of the conversations that we are going to need to have, because we can do better, and what that looks like and having those conversations with parents, with students, to know what you need and help to better educate you, I think is really important for us to continue to collaborate and have those conversations, because ultimately we need to do the best job that we can for our students.
Thank you so much. Now, quick fire question for Joshua Simmons. What is some advice you would give to your younger self?
Buckle up. That's all. I would just buckle up and be ready. Be prepared. Like the one of the greatest Disney songs ever. Be prepared.
All right, now we have another Twitter question.
This one is for Commissioner Udine. Will you commit, and it's from Logan Rubenstein, will you commit to supporting measures to redirect funding from the Broward Sheriff's Office to violence intervention, social worker, and homeless relief funding instead?
We are meeting with the sheriff. The sheriff has met with the county commission. We are in the process of setting up a workshop with Sheriff Tony, who is the first African-American sheriff in Broward County. We will be putting a group together to come up with some different ideas to talk about how we can make any kind of changes that need to be made in any level of the criminal justice system in Broward County. A simple example is civil citations. We want to roll them out faster so that people don't get marks on their record if there's things that can be, simple and avoidable. So I commit to working with Sheriff Tony. I commit to working with the residents of Broward County to make sure the Broward Sheriff's Office operates in a fair and respectful manner to all of our citizens, to make sure that all are safe, protected, and feel comfortable in Broward County. I just want to follow up to one thing that was mentioned before about voting. And since we have a lot of people on this Zoom chat, go to www.browardsoe.org. There will be a pop-up and you can order your ballots by mail, so you can vote in these elections by mail and not even have to go to a voting precinct to do it. It's simple, it's easy, and it's convenient.
Thank you. This question is for Scott Brook. What's the biggest difference between your first time being mayor and currently?
Oh my gosh. It's got to be this. It's got to be this unprecedented time of dealing with COVID, and also to some extent, dealing with the aftermath of the massacre that we had at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. I really applaud Lori Alladeff's efforts. A lot of courageous parents have made such a difference. A lot of the students here, you saw peaceful protests around the country, around the world, and we're just living in a very different time. But one of the things that I'm encouraged by are you guys. Emily, you've been involved with this for a while. You've been involved in the community for a while. Same with you, Nathaniel. And you're our future, and I think you're our present. And when I first served back in 2002 to 2010, a lot of things were, I'm going to say, a lot easier, not quite as tough, not the challenges that we currently have. But I have no doubt that we have the stamina to get through this, and that we get through it together, and in great part because of the people you see here at this meeting, from our city manager to Alex Falcone to Commissioner Vignola. We have a great team, a lot of unity in the community, great people here in Coral Springs, and I think students like none other. And great police force, great fire, and I think together we're a lot stronger. And it's, like I said, certainly much different serving this time during a pandemic than ever before. Thanks for the question.
Thank you, Mayor. Now to Larry Vignola. You have grown up in Coral Springs for most of your life. What is the biggest change you have seen over time?
The growth in this city has just been astronomical. I moved here a couple days before kindergarten, and we had 2 high schools in the city. So if you lived over by Coral Springs Elementary like me, you were zoned for Coral Springs High School. And then to think about the growth in the community and how tremendous that's been. The city's grown a lot. I remember Wiles Road was like the end of the world. It was 1 lane each way, and on the other side was all cow pastures. Where the walk is, we used to play football. There's a lot of changes, a lot of growth. I know Vice Mayor Carter was talking about some things earlier. I remember going to the city's, I think it was the 25th anniversary, and we had the world's largest hamburger and milkshake. It was part of Guinness. The community was still a tight knit community, but it was much smaller, and it was a great town. I just want to remind everybody to go on Twitter. You can follow the event along at Teen Pole Forum, or if you go to @Coral Springs FL, and go ahead and get on there and share your school and like your school's tweet, and that's part of the competition to see who's got the most attendance. Right now, I believe Coral Springs High School is winning. So, thank you.
All right. Speaking of Twitter, we have another Twitter question.
Yes, so this one's also for Lori Alhadeff. Are any efforts being made to increase mental health awareness and resources in schools, and are those resources going to be readily available to students once school begins partially reopening?
Absolutely. So part of the referendum money was to go towards more mental health resources for our students. We need to get more mental health counselors in our schools to have a better ratio of student to mental health counselor. It's very, very important to be able to connect and make sure that we are meeting the mental health needs of our students. So absolutely, social emotional learning, our teachers are implementing it in their classrooms. It is a top priority of the school board. Thank you.
Thank you. Another question for Ms. Lori Alhadeff. What has been the biggest challenge you have faced with serving on the school board?
Wow, great question. I think probably the biggest challenge is just coming in as the new person, trying to learn the ropes, trying to make change. Coming in, I feel that the school board is kind of doing things the way they've always done. And I'm coming in with a new perspective on things and trying to make that change and trying to make a difference and trying to hold people accountable.
Thank you. This question is directed to Michael Udine. Broward County has a very diverse population in many aspects. What is the best and the hardest part of serving the needs of such a large group of people?
It's really gratifying as a county commissioner to be able to help people that range the gamut of socioeconomic, diverse population. Serving in the past in my role as mayor of Parkland, I was a little bit more insulated, but now as I see the entire county, a lot of what we do in human services is so necessary for people. It's so important. If a bus doesn't come on time in Coral Springs, it may not be as important to somebody as a bus not coming on time in other areas of the county. So working with the different constituencies throughout Broward County has been extremely gratifying to be able to help people, in all different aspects of their life. I sometimes say that the Broward County Commission is a very large human services department because a lot of what we do relates to human services. And I've had, homeless people cry in my office. I've had people that are disabled that we've been able to help. And it's just gratifying as a county commissioner to be able to serve you guys and to be able to help all of you.
Let's take some time to look at our final Twitter question of the night.
This one is from Lexi Tracton, and this is for Clyde Perry. Why do we use local police instead of private security firms to protect schools?
Well, that's a great question. We contract with the county to have the SROs there. In Coral Springs, we actually like having our SROs in the school because we can build up a rapport with the kids. We get to know them. There's nothing more gratifying than seeing kids that graduated 3-4 years ago, or kids that were in elementary school that are now in high school who come up to the SRO they had and, high five them, give them a hug, I think we can just build a better relationship. You talk about what's going on in the world right now, and my answer to the last question was just talking and coming to understanding. Nothing's better than building that relationship at a very young, early age, and trying to build the gap of trust between the police and young students who will eventually grow up to be, the citizens that we police.
Thank you so much. Our next question is to Joy Carter. What is the toughest decision you have had to make on your time as a commissioner?
I would say the one that I get most beat up for, and it was very difficult, was the new city hall. I mean, we had a building that was never designed to be a city hall, and we made it work for 52 years. And I didn't vote for the location of the current one, but once that vote failed, the next decision was to move forward or to keep talking about it. And as a realtor, I knew that prices were going up and that we needed to move forward. So I voted yes. And people often take that. My first vote was no, my second one was yes on two different subjects. But people have beat me up over saying that I was a turncoat, and that because I campaigned against the city hall, I campaigned against the location. I never campaigned against the building. After that vote, I turned around and literally burst into tears because it was so emotionally charged. I don't regret my decision. I don't regret my choice, but I will say it was one of the hardest ones I've had to do. There's been a few, but that was one of them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Broward County Commissioner Michael Udine. Before being a county representative, you were mayor of Parkland. How have you found city government compared to county government?
Like I kind of answered a little before, I mean, it's just, you deal with the diversity of Broward County is just, it's such a beautiful thing that we have in the county, and it's what makes our county so great, the different cultures that can make us what we are. So the county is much bigger, it's much more diverse than the city, and it's just a pleasure to serve. I will say, and my fellow city elected officials that are on this call, it's a lot easier to get things done on the city level than it is on the county level. It's just bigger and it's more bureaucratic. So I miss that a little bit between the city and the county, but all in all, the diversity and watching Broward become the economic engine that it was before this pandemic, and that it will be again in the future to move all of us forward.
Thank you. We will now be taking our final video question directed to Larry.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Wenke, and I go to Coral Springs Charter School. I wanted to know if there are any plans or updates on relocating the school in the future. Thank you.
Well, that's going to be one of my biggest regrets on the commission, is not getting the charter school, the new charter school. That site was a mall, and it was a mall that the city eminent domain to turn into a school with a long-term plan of moving somewhere else. The commission kind of went back and forth on this. It was something that I really felt strongly on moving them. And I'd like to see eventually that school have a facility that matches the academics that take place inside that building. I don't know what's on the horizon. I know last time we looked at this was about a year ago, and unfortunately construction costs had just gone through the roof, and it made it not feasible at the current time. I hope that my colleagues on the commission, as time goes on, when I'm gone, I hope it's something that you guys continue to look at, and when the time is right, make a decision and open up that corner to some nice economic engine with the downtown, and help the downtown grow, and also provide our students with a great place to continue their education.
Okay, thank you. This is a reminder, one of your last chances to go like your school Twitter page to count as your attendance. This next question is for State Representative Dan Daly. What is your favorite thing about being a state rep?
The 6-hour drive to Tallahassee. I'm kidding. For anybody that goes to Florida State, by the way, I'm an FSU grad. It's awesome. But the 6-hour drive is terrible. My favorite part about being in Tallahassee, prior to being elected on the city commission, I was a legislative aide to our former state representative Ari Porth, who's tuning in and watching this. And my favorite part of being a state rep is being able to come back up here and still having a lot of the relationships with folks who have also run and won office in Tallahassee or still involved in the process and getting to work on really important issues. And it's because of those relationships that I was able to do things like help get Alyssa's Law passed or get money in the budget for Coral Springs. One of the things we've been working on for years was getting funding for the West Side Complex. And Governor DeSantis, if you're listening, please don't veto the money for the West Side Complex that we finally got in the budget. So it's just, long story short, the answer to your question is having the opportunity to really make a difference that impacts not only my hometown of Coral Springs, but all of District 97 and the Florida Everglades.
Thank you so much, Representative Daley. Now, our last question is to Joshua Simmons. What is the biggest difference you have found being on the commission in a year?
The biggest difference.
He misses me.
I would say, yes, of course, I miss Dan. You know, we had a good 2.5 meetings together before he left us. I would say the biggest thing is just, learning to work with different personalities, learning what my colleagues, support, what they don't support, or what is in their heart, what are their desires. Like, I think at this point, I kind of know all of my colleagues and what their issues that they champion. To the point that, when issues come up, we all kind of know to step back a little and allow that commissioner to kind of take the lead on that particular topic. So I would say that that's kind of been a fascinating thing for me, because I really just love the human condition and how people think and move and operate. And so, being able to kind of see that interplay is just a really fascinating thing as a commissioner, and you really get to see it after you stop being a rookie. Commissioner Sarah, there you go.
Okay, it's time to find out who will win the check provided by our sponsors, Baptist Health and Waste Pro, and the traveling trophy.
All right, if you give me a minute, I'm waiting for staff to go ahead and figure that out and send me the message.
Go Colts, go Colts, go Colts.
I want to thank the panelists. I mean, I really cannot stress this enough. This is something that is truly, truly unique. We had our U.S. Congressman Ted Deutsch, our State Representative Dan Daley, our County Commissioner Michael Udine, our school board member Lori Alhadeff. We had our Mayor Brooke. We had Vice Mayor Joy Carter. We had Commissioner Simmons and Commissioner Sarah. This is really awesome, and I just want to thank all of you for taking time away from your families and out of your evening to continue to be a part of our teens and pushing forward teen issues and listening to them. To the kids out there, I really cannot stress you. I know you hear elected officials or politicians or this or that, and I'm telling you, the people that represent you in this community, they genuinely care about you, the people in our community, and they go to work every day trying to do what they feel is best for us, whether you agree with them or disagree with them, and whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Understand that people that represent our community really have their hearts in the right place. And I want to thank you all for continuing to represent our community and be a part of events like this. It really does mean a lot to me personally. So I think I have the numbers here, and it looks like the winners for the first time ever with the trophy over here is going to be going, Commissioner Simmons. Are you excited? You look like you're jumping around a little bit. The trophy will be going to Coral Springs High School. So go Colts. Second place was JP Taravella. So we will be visiting Mrs. Suarez and bringing her the trophy with the plaque on it. And we will be delivering a $1,000 check from Baptist Health. And for Taravella, we'll be delivering you a $500 check from Waste Pro. Once again, I want to thank everybody very much for participating in this. And I know we moved it around a little bit. A couple times we had to change the dates with everything. And I really, really appreciate it. And thank you to the students who worked so hard on this event.
This event is so important to us because it's one of the ways that we as teens can communicate with elected officials and let them know what's on our minds.
We hope you have seen how truly important it is to be involved and what a wonderful learning experience this is.
Tonight, you displayed that you have a voice. We hope you come next year.
Thank you, everybody.
Quick reminder, there is a survey that you can take at coralsprings.org/TPF survey that will give us valuable feedback on tonight. And thank you so much for watching and have a great night. We have a graduation video dedicated to the class of 2020 from the city if you want to stick around and watch that.
To the seniors of the class of 2020.
Congratulations.
You did it.
You did it.
You did it.
Your time is finally here.
And we know that this is what you expected at the end of your senior year of high school.
But in life,
things most often don't go according to plan. So use this experience.
So use this experience as the first life lesson.
As a life lesson.
As a lesson that college might have taught you, or maybe even later in life you wouldn't have learned before.
4 years ago, you most likely envisioned yourself walking across the graduation stage
as your name was called and your family cheered and celebrated your accomplishments today.
But graduation is more than walking across the stage. Your family has cheered you on for all these years and will continue to do so for many more.
The stage and diploma are mere representations of your accomplishments that this pandemic will never take away from you.
That this pandemic can never take away from you.
Will never take away from you.
Will never take away from you. Today is an exciting day, and I'm sure many of you are tired, but you got here.
You are here on your graduation day.
You are here on your graduation day.
And if this pandemic leaves you with anything, it's to hopefully appreciate the things that you have in your life, including your accomplishments, and especially today.
Let it be today.
Let it be today. Today marks the beginning of your next chapter in life, and that is worth celebrating, even during this difficult time.
Your stories are bigger than this crisis, your accomplishments are greater than this pandemic, and your mission will be to make sure this doesn't happen to another graduating class, nor to our world ever again.
Ever again.
You are our future.
Class of 2020, reflect on the changes and challenges you have seen in your lifetime. You came after the uncertainty of the attacks of 9/11.
And you witnessed how our nation overcame those challenges. Your arrival came at a time when the fabric of our nation was torn.
And you served as a beacon of hope then, and you are a symbol of our future now.
And are a symbol of our future now.
You are the class that will sow the seeds of change. You are the future scientists who will prevent pandemics.
You are the future doctors and nurses that will care for the sick and injured.
You are the future environmentalists that will fight for a healthier planet.
You are the future financial planners and economists who will restore commerce and help strengthen our economy.
You are the future historians who will remind the next generation what it's like to overcome challenges.
Regardless of what you choose to become, one thing is for certain.
One thing is for certain.
One thing is certain. I have no doubt. You are certainly our future.
You are our future.
You are our future.
You are our future.
And we all are fortunate to know that many of you will choose to defend our freedoms and are grateful for the commitment that you have for our nation. And for the men and women joining our armed forces, thank you. But regardless of what you choose to become, one thing is certain. You are our future.
You are a generation of resilience. You are a generation that has overcome many challenges and unexpected obstacles.
You're a class of determination, of persistence, and success.
You are a class of achievement, determination, and perseverance. Your uplifting spirits embody the incredible leaders that will lead our nation one day.
That will lead our nation one day.
That will lead our nation one day.
Education is the key to your future, but the first ingredient is you.
Is you. Be proud of what you have accomplished. how you have adapted and overcame adversity. Celebrate your accomplishments and achievements.
Envision your future and focus on the many ways you can improve your future.
And focus your energy on the many ways you will shape it.
Raise your sights, aim high, and invest in yourselves.
College puts responsibility for your success on you. It's your responsibility, no one else's, to fulfill your dreams.
Your life after this point is yours, whether you go to college or not. It is your responsibility, no one else's, to fulfill your dreams.
And though there will be many unexpected moments, situations you will not anticipate, when those times come, remember how you persevered and how you pushed forward this year.
Learn from this crisis, from our first responders, our doctors and nurses, our grocery store workers, and everyone on the front lines who have kept our nation going and who held our communities together.
Learn from this moment. Don't be casual about your future. Be proactive. Be visionaries. Prepare yourselves, because the unexpected always happens.
Always happens. We promise you this won't be the last time life takes you by surprise.
We promise you this won't be the last time life takes you by surprise. Today, you have a rare and valuable chance to pursue your own passions and chase your own dreams. Be proud of your accomplishments and be excited for what's to come.
As said by one of the most prolific American children authors, Dr. Seuss, from Oh, the Places You'll Go. You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. Congratulations, class of 2020.
Congratulations, class of 2020. We're incredibly proud of you.
Congratulations, class of 2020.
Congratulations, class of 2020.
Congratulations, class of 2020.